Wait, should we record an intro for the second, since this is going to be
We'll
two?
fine. Well, he'll just repeat it. Be like, welcome to the show.
All right, fair enough.
I'm going to use that. It's going to be welcome to the show.
False little
Like
shitter
fucking
song.
don't hug me, I'm scared kind of fucking intro. Jesus.
You think I'm joking?
Yeah,
No, I'm not. I know
you're
you're going to do it.
I know you're going to do it, so it's fine.
This is A Kettle of Fish. Be sure to subscribe and listen to each episode at akettleoffishpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app. Here are your hosts, Robert and Paul.
So this list that I posted on the Discord, Paul's never seen that list. That is my personal
Oh, I didn't even
walking-
see it when you posted it in Discord to begin with. I didn't read it. I was like, TLDR.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because these are just like little things that, you know, I could just be like walking in a store and something will pop in my head like, oh, let me type this down real quick because I'll forget
James
about
Corden Band.
It's probably
What?
a good
Paul, let him
subject.
fucking talk. Shut up.
Oh,
A
sorry.
good thing
Go ahead,
to
Rob's reading the list.
bring up later. But as far as what you would find interesting, my initial go-to, my initial like, oh, I bet he probably thinks this is the best one, is
I
the
picked
parallel
two
universe
Yeah.
question.
No, I actually thought that was one of the most boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that I was thinking he was going to pick Arena of Praise or Fat Shaming and Body Positivity.
I also thought maybe retroactive PC, but yeah,
Yeah,
that
Paul's
was
got
my-
it. It was the fat shaming one. Yeah, I would love
Yeah, I
to go
thought
into
so.
that one. But the parallel universe one, like, if they exist, are we the best version of ourselves? Like, no, of course not. There's going to be one that's like rich. There's going to be one that's like more swole with a crispier hairline. Like, yeah, of course not.
There's going to be one where like monkeys rule the planet. There's going to be one where
You don't think that in a parallel universe there's a worse version of Paul?
Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But if there's parallel, then there's probably infinite. Unless we're saying like there's four, and if there's infinite, then there's
that's
one
the
where Paul's
multiversal
6'7"
theory, though. Like that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about like all the fucking time.
And it is
like,
hard to fathom, but yes, there is probably a shittier Paul out there somewhere in another universe.
There's definitely a homeless Paul. There's probably a dead Paul. There's probably a Paul who's
you're
president
homeless,
of the
right?
United
You
States.
are homeless, Paul, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so-
yep, there is. Sorry, let me reiterate. An unsheltered homeless Paul.
There we go. Perfect.
Yay!
As long as you're-
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? I need a correction about that with your definition of homeless. You started off the whole thing by saying if your name is not on a lease or a deed or something like that, then you're homeless. And then later on, we brought up
I said you were sheltered homeless.
but either way, you said that you were not homeless if your name was on the deed or at least. But later on, you were like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." When I was like, "You
with
don't
the
own
rent?
the apartment complex."
Yeah, if you don't own it, you're not a home owner. Thusly, you're homeless.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I just look at it as like the legality side of it, and like
I see.
if the government gives a shit or not, you know, and
I just
take
wanted to
advantage
clarify
of that system.
that I caught the little like, wait a minute.
Yeah, the little contradiction. Yeah, dude,
I do want
that's life. We all
to explain
contradict
in the
everything.
list. Arena of Praise was just like a little like tidbit because for me to remember, there is a church next to where Aaron works that's called Arena of Praise, and I thought it was funny because my imagination goes to
The
this.
gladiatorial arena.
Yes, it is just like pastors in the middle and they're fighting to the death with the Bible.
Feeding lions to the
I
people,
was like,
or
who
feeding
names
people
their
to
church?
the lions.
Who names their church Arena of Praise? Like, yeah, exactly. I'm
Fucking-
expecting like some like full-on battles in this bitch. Like, why would you call it?
There's two preachers up at the podium, like rap battling each other, and then one of them
Exactly. Like, why is
gets
that-
the verse out before the other one. He's like, finish him.
And you know,
then
somebody
fucking-
thought of that name and was like, you know what? That sounds like a fantastic name for my ministry. Arena of Praise.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's why
I
that's
do
on the
like
list.
that. That's pretty cool.
Fatality.
You'd go to that church, right?
I
Yeah,
would
for
go
sure.
to that church. I
Why
would be
not?
screaming fatality like all the time. Like,
I'd probably go in wearing armor of some sort, but yeah. It's like the
Let's
Fight
do
Club
that.
for
Let's
church.
all three get together, go to the arena of praise, dressed in gladiatorial holy Roman armor.
But we have to have the red cross painted on our chest.
We gotta have the red cross. We have to be crusaders.
like crusaders.
We have to dress up as crusaders and just they're like, we're here for the praise.
Templars.
We are the knights of the arena of praise.
You know, for the longest time, I wondered how I was going to bring that up in conversation on the show, and that was successful. We did it.
It was. Thank you. So, the fat shaming, body positivity, Tyler, what's up?
All right. Let me qualify it real quick. Okay. So I know a lot about fitness. I've been studying it for like 2 years, right?
Right.
Are you guys familiar? Rob probably is with the concept of NEAT. This is not a meme.
Of what?
NEAT.
Neat?
Yeah.
Like NEAT?
Yes. So it
it
stands
like-
for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. What it means is how much energy / calories your body burns while not exercising, running, walking, lifting,
Right.
like while you were at rest. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say that it is hugely different person to person.
Yes.
It's based on a lot of genetic factors. It's based on if you are a person that
Metabolism.
fidgets. If you fidget, it costs your body energy to move, so you're burning calories. But even then, you can have like really, really big people who fidget because their body just straight up doesn't burn that many calories while they're chilling. So I understand that. Okay.
Dude,
The
my leg's
problem-
been shaking the entire time I've been sitting here, so I know about
Right.
fidget.
Well, you
The
also have
problem that I
undiagnosed and
have-
unmedicated ADHD. But anyways, go ahead.
The problem that I have is, man, how do I want to word this? I'm not a big fan of people who take pride in things that they have done absolutely nothing for.
Mhm.
And I think that pretty consistently we extend this rationale to almost every other facet of human life.
Mhm.
If Paul randomly like won the lottery and won a Lamborghini and came in and was like, yeah, I got a Lamborghini, you fucking poor ass motherfuckers, I'm flexing on you, your cars don't look any fucking thing like this, would be like, wow, this dude
I
fucking
would never
sucks.
buy a Lamborghini.
I didn't say
Yeah,
you
but
bought it. I say you
For
want it.
purpose of the
Okay?
conversation. Yeah.
I
But-
would never want it.
Right. So if somebody flexes something that they didn't earn, or even if they did earn, right? If they did earn it, it's like, okay, but he worked for it, so he's an asshole. But I
I'm
understand.
definitely flexing my 2015 Nissan Pathfinder.
I'm definitely flexing my. You know what? I've got nothing.
But so if people do like the absolute bare minimum or even less, like nothing,
Mhm.
and then want to like be proud of what they have, it's like it doesn't make sense. You can't be proud of actively doing nothing. That doesn't make sense to me. That's like saying like, damn, I'm proud that I breathed today. It doesn't.
Pride cometh before the fall, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't fuck with it, dude. I think it's pretty cringe. Now, I don't have.
I get what you're saying.
I don't have a like hate or like a dislike for bigger people of any kind.
Mhm.
I love them.
So I will say if I see somebody that's like huge, but they're like, yeah, like I'm really trying. Like I walk and I try to eat cleaner. But it's pretty tough for my body to like burn calories. But I'm really trying. Like I'm down 5 pounds over a year.
Right.
And that's a pace that works for me, but I'm working on it. I'd be like, okay,
I've
fucking
got a
nice.
glandular problem.
But if I see somebody that's just like 300-400 and they're just eating like McDonald's and shit, and it's like, okay, you just don't care. But especially beyond that, when they start flexing and they're like, yeah, no, I love myself. Like I'm a bad bitch, or I'm like dude, that makes me want to fucking blow my brains
I
out.
kind of see like where you like, because me personally, I love them thick.
I love them juicy.
I love them juicy. Thank you, Robert, for following that. I get what you're saying though. Like for instance, like the Sports Illustrated models or the plus size models that try
that
to
shit is
flex on people,
insane to me.
and then like they did there because there is a difference between thick fit. Because you could be fit and still be thick. Because I've seen fucking ballerina dancers that are like, they got that ass and thick ass thighs, and I love it.
Dude,
But
like
they're
professional
fit enough-
bodybuilders, like the ones that are not cut and they're just in it to lift large amounts of weight, they look fat as shit.
You talking
but
about power
they're-
lifters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But they still worked for that.
And their BMI
that
is
strength
ridiculous.
or
like
that dexterity.
famously, Arnold Schwarzenegger was technically and by definition obese when he won Mr. Olympia. So I mean,
Yeah, that's why the BMI is fucking stupid.
it is.
Yeah, BMI. I can't stand that shit. But the thing Tyler's trying to talk about is like you have all of this like ego and bitch I'm sexy, but didn't really work anything for it. You know, like
do you guys know who Andrew Schultz is?
Yeah,
I've heard the name.
He had a bit that he was like, fat models trigger me more than anything else because like if you're a skinny model, right, you like put some level of effort in, like you're maintaining your diet.
I mean, you put
you
effort
Not
into
necessarily.
eating.
Okay, well, even if you are outright starving yourself, that is still something you have to do, right?
You still
even
have to eat burgers.
Well, all right.
Oh God, that really fucking blows my mind.
So, all right. Back in the day when we
What's
were all
harder,
working,
eating Burger King or starving yourself, Paul? I want you to answer that question. What's harder?
Eating Burger King, because Burger King's
No.
fucking disgusting, dude. I can't keep that shit down. I'd
you
rather
knew that was the wrong
starve.
person to direct that question to.
Dude, don't ask me fucking questions like that. Come on.
Well, I mean, like how much effort did you put into being skinny as shit back in the day when we worked at GameStop?
I was about to
No,
say
but
that
I
was just
wasn't
your
a model.
metabolism.
So
and
that's what I'm saying.
I
though,
think
is that like
I think he's
even-
getting at like the fit models, the guys that like the guys and girls that have like definition or they have worked their body into
Right.
a
I
molded.
totally
being
get
skinny
that
or
for
being
that.
fat. There's those two sides of it, but somewhere in the middle there's fit, and you have to kind of work for that. There's a discipline to it.
I get that
Yeah.
for the people who are fit and that is the like genre of modeling that they're doing.
You can't
But
make me believe that most models, male or female, are just eating whatever the fuck they want. You can't. You have to.
no.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying though is that like there is, I guess ultimately like the reason why I put that down because I figured it'd be a good conversation, but I'm kind of
Like I
like
said, discipline.
on both ends of it. Like there comes a point where there's too much positivity, but on that
Yeah.
same note, if I'm going into Walmart and I'm looking to buy a shirt, I would like to have some representation of like real life individuals as opposed to somebody who is spending what is the equivalent of at least a part-time job in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't. So I'm not saying that we should make the world like inaccessible for bigger people, but I think that
Right.
if you are not actively trying to better yourself, if you have
Right.
something like this going on, that you're doing yourself like a huge disservice. And
I think
that's when
some
I
people
kind
are
of
just happy.
that's when I kind of
being-
like start to. I don't want to say like
I see the pride side of it that you're talking about, and I see the Robert side where he's like there's too much positivity sometimes, but I can also see like people just being accepting who they are, and they just
Well, that's the
they're-
other part of my of
that's the
where I was
problem. That's
coming
the thing that I have a problem with. We shouldn't accept ourselves the way we are. We should always be striving to be better. That's
Right, you
that's my whole
should.
thing.
But if
There-
it's a question of being
it depends on how better you, because if you're healthy and you're big, then you don't, and you like being the size that you are, then to you are already fine there. You can now focus on improving other parts of your life.
Sure.
Like you can still improve and it not have to be all about your appearance.
What I think, here's what I my prediction is that with this wave of positivity shit, like people are gonna be like, cool, I can finally like be myself. I don't have to fucking worry. I don't have to do. And then they're gonna hit like 45, 46 and be like, okay, now I'm like winded. I'm not really sleeping as well anymore. My heart's starting to have issues. Like they're healthy now.
Mhm.
Like I can't really
that's
put my
fine
shoes on
now.
anymore. Like that's what I think is like this is pushing people towards instead of being like, you know what, let me curve this while I'm 26. Like I'm fat now, but I
That's-
can turn the shit around.
That's
like-
fine. Like I said, there is such a thing. Like Robert said, there's over positivity, I think, and we like, oh my god, this person's a hero because they got their dick chopped off, or oh my god, this person's so beautiful because they're like 900 pounds and over.
I think
But,
there is a fine line between too much positivity and like hating yourself, because just speaking from personal experience,
if you hate how you look, then yes, you should strive to change.
It feeds into the cycle that gets you to where you're at anyways. Like,
Yeah.
because that hate, it either goes one of two ways. It depends on the person. That hating yourself either gets you to do better in the gym, or it continues the cycle of shitty eating, loathing, and it just makes things even worse. It's like a snowball effect.
Just personally, because I like thick women, and they're better to cuddle with, and they're warmer and softer and more to love.
I hate the fact that my mind immediately goes to, I like what you say.
I do so much. God,
I do too, man. I do too. I'm with you.
There's just way more to love. So I'm a little biased on the whole fat shaming, body positivity stuff, but at the same time, I can also see the side of it. Like, say for instance, I was with someone and they're like, I don't want to be like this weight. I would support them. Like, yeah, I'd hate for them to lose that booty, but I would support them if they were uncomfortable at the weight they are. If they're comfortable and they're happy and they're like, I'll support them in improving other parts of their lives. Like, I was with Noelle, and I helped support her through college, and she didn't care, as much about like the weight she was at. And I think there are different ways to improve yourself if you're happy in the body you're happy in. Like me, I'm happy. I've got fucking Chris Pratt dad bod, but would I want a six pack abs? I don't know. I'd never had it, so I don't really care. But like, like I think there's the side of it that's like, if you're happy, fine. But if you're happy and you're shoving it in people's faces and telling the world to look at me, then that's where you're pushing the boundary. Right. And then there's that side of it where it's like overly positive, where we have to just accept everyone all the time, no matter what. Everyone is perfect. Nobody has flaws. Like, that shit sucks, because that goes back to the whole let's give everybody a trophy mentality.
Yeah.
And
let me expand on this a little bit.
If you're delusional in saying there's nothing wrong with me, I'm perfect the way that I am.
Yes.
I am.
I think
I'm
there
healthy,
are
I'm
multiple
good to go and all that
sides to
stuff.
this.
And you're 500 and something pounds.
Let me
There's an
expand on
issue.
this just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So, what this all ties into is, I have noticed that hedonism is is just on the rise, especially in America. And I think hedonism will be like the death of, not to sound fucking crazy, but I think hedonism will literally destroy the country. We're at a point where people are just like, should I eat something that's like a little bit cleaner for me, or should I just go get Wendy's because it's easier? Damn, Wendy's does like taste a little better. Like, all right, let me go get that. I'm gonna go get Wendy's.
Why is it that the shit that's bad for you tastes so much better?
Because it's cheap. It's insanely. But anyways, and it doesn't just apply to like weight stuff. We're talking about like, damn, is it harder to stay with
being
one partner and like
in general?
No, Paul, I'm gonna fucking get triggered. Let me get a sentence out. Okay. Is it easier to stay connected with one partner and like build a relationship with them and like get to learn each other and like stay together forever, or fucking new people is pretty fun. Like, should I stay with this one person, but then open it up and they'll have like 8 different partners? Yeah, that's probably a lot fucking easier.
Yeah.
And like, I do want to fuck other people. Like, I do have like a very basic human thing that I'm frankly just not disciplined or strong enough to conquer. That's kind of what I've noticed, is like people are just losing. They have no more willpower, no more discipline, any sort of indulgence or urge. They just cave. Like they just had a full meal and they're sitting there.
It's be natural. It's fine. Yeah.
They're like, they just kicked back from a full meal at Arby's and they're like, you know what, dude, I kind of want a Starbucks Frappuccino. Like, should I have, like, let me think. Nope, fuck it. I'm going to go get it. Like, that shit is.
Like, especially the newest generation. Like, I've noticed that with like teenagers. Like, oh my God, dude, like, they don't give a shit.
They don't take no for an answer. That's for sure.
I mean, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Is like, it's a lack of discipline. Like, nobody is disciplined in doing anything anymore. They get like Tyler was saying, like, they just fucking give in.
And I think if we want to engage with reality for a minute, does anybody want to be fat? That is reasonable. Probably not, right? They were like, yeah, if I could like flip a light switch and change it, I'd probably be like a X amount less heavy, right? To some degree.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a person in the world who was fat, who flipped it around, got in shape, and then like, damn, I kind of miss like not really being able to go upstairs, and like I kind of miss like being winded doing like really simple shit. There's not a person out there that has gotten into good shape and be like, fuck, I regret it. So it saddens me, the push to instead of try, just cave, accept it and give in, and it is what it is.
I think like with like the discipline thing, like, and again, like I said, I support thick women, but that's because I like them.
My God.
But I would never let them get to a point of severe. Like I make sure like we do still exercise and everything like that. Our heart and everything is regulated. But like there is that side of it that's like, okay, if something with your health comes up, we need to talk about it. We need to like do something about it, because there is a lack of discipline in the world, especially in America. Nobody gives a shit. So, you know, but I also can see like attraction, right? Like comes down to that too. Like sometimes you're just attracted to what you're attracted to. I mean, like for instance, gay people can't help that they're attracted to the same sex. That's just their natural attraction. I can't help being attracted to thicker women. I've always been attracted to thicker women, and I always will be. That's not going to fucking change. And some people are attracted to thinner women.
I kind of hate to break the reality that like a lot of people feel like, you know, like, all right, well, you know, I'm reasonably healthy at this weight. Like, okay, well, you're probably, if you keep doing the exact same things,
more healthy. Yeah.
No. If you never change your diet, if you never do anything different, you're not going to stay the same weight. Because your sedentary levels are going to increase as you get older. You're going to become more sedentary. Your metabolism is going to slow down. Even if you don't increase your calorie intake, you're going to get more overweight, period. So it's not like...
That's why I cook different shit all the time.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's a really spicy
almost
take.
Like it's a super complicated and very complex issue that is not a clear
almost
fit
like it's
for
a Robert
everyone,
question.
because everyone also has a different reason as to why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
Like you even said, sometimes it's genetics, sometimes it's hormones, sometimes it's depression. Sometimes
I acknowledge
it's
that
not
genetics
giving
play a
shit.
factor.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. I dated a girl who was, I think she was 200 or 210. And she got a membership at Orange Theory Fitness. She ate hyper clean every day, like salmon and rice and shit. She dropped, I think, 30 pounds. And she was like the best she ever looked. And then she moved to New York and gained it back in like a month. So her genetics played like a really heavy role into how hard it is for her to burn calories and how easily her body holds on to calories. But it's not impossible for anyone. And
it's not impossible. No.
I don't like the idea that,
but
like,
it's also
if
not
something's
as
hard,
easy as some people like to play it up
yeah,
as.
I don't trust me.
Well,
Gaining 50 pounds was fucking miserable. It was incredibly difficult. Like I had to eat full meals while full. It was absolutely difficult. But it feels like as a country we're moving away from, if something is remotely challenging, do it. Like we just abandon it. It's like if
I
anything
wonder if
is
it's
tough.
also a question of just education. Like for me, I off and on, granted, because it's a whole like, man, I'm tired of doing this for a year or 2 years or whatever and not seeing any progress. I wonder if it's an education thing as well, of like how to do it properly. Because like I remember very much so about the time that we were all working at GameStop, like, or shortly after that, like I spent a solid 2 years going to the gym, like legitimately, and eating relatively healthy as much as I could on the budget that I had, because eating healthy is expensive. I didn't see any change. Didn't see any muscle mass like build, didn't see any like real weight loss or anything. It was almost like I was spinning my wheels in sand and not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it you definitely have to do a lot of like digging to really get to because there's so much misinformation around fitness stuff.
And
not all
everybody
sizes
like
fit
loses weight.
Everyone
and gains muscle different.
I literally had a friend yesterday send me a video in Snapchat who he's like trying to get into weightlifting, and it was like, hey dude, this was just a tip. I wanted to see like if you knew about it. And it was some guy, and it's like, are you trying to target like your the love handles on the side, like do side oblique raises? And he had like a dumbbell, and he was like, and I was like, okay, this guy's full of shit. You can't spot reduce fat.
Yeah.
Like he's already,
because you're going to build muscle there and it's going to look bigger.
Yeah, it's going to push the fat out. Exactly. But a lot of people, like I would say the vast majority of Americans still think you can spot reduce fat. Like there's women who are like, I don't like that my arms are fat. I'm going to do arm circles. It's like, dude, that's not how it works.
Just do
you can't
cardio.
control where it comes off. You don't even have to, I don't do cardio. You don't have to do cardio.
No, I do cardio.
You can walk if walking counts as cardio, but I mean, people think that like to burn fat they have to like sprint, and it's really just calories in versus calories out. When I was cutting, I had like kind of a revelation moment, where I spent 15 minutes on the treadmill working or walking at a 12.0 incline. So it's really, really steep incline. 12 minutes, I burned like 150 calories. I went home and I picked up you guys know how small Nutri-Grain bars are, right?
Yeah.
That's 120 calories. So all 12 of those minutes that I was on the treadmill sweating my fucking ass off, my calves are burning, I'm walking at virtually a 90-degree angle.
Right.
That was one Nutri-Grain bar.
Right.
So
Meanwhile,
it's like,
you
dude,
could eat like a cup of rice and it'd still be the same or less.
Controlling what comes into your body is infinitely easier than burning off calories.
It's like what South Park was talking about. You rack a discipline.
True. Like there's stories of Americans that go to Europe for like 30 days and they're like, dude, I lost like 30 pounds. What the fuck happened? It's like, well, their food quality is like infinitely better. And you also probably walked everywhere. Like,
dude, have you seen pictures? I've seen pictures of people posting like what Taco Bell's like in Italy or England or whatever. And I'm like, this
even their chains are better.
Beautiful. And it just looks fresh.
Dude, I went to a McDonald's when I was in England in Nottingham. And holy shit, that was the nicest fucking McDonald's I've ever been to in my life.
Right.
It had a second story that was just for dining with these giant glass windows. I was like, are we sure this is a McDonald's and not like a restaurant? Yeah. Like this looks nice. Like what the fuck?
Like, why is that a thing? Why is food here so shitty?
You want me to tell you the honest to God reason?
I mean, it's probably money and lobbying and high fructose corn syrup companies and
cheap big pharma.
It's mostly that. A lot of it is I mean, not to sound like a fucking tanky, but Republicans do a real disservice whenever they get into the presidential position because they just all of these different food regulations and stuff that we have, they just cut them. Like as soon as they get in office, they're like, okay, fuck all that. So just like all of the trashest, lowest quality ingredients that we can get imported.
I have noticed, like, as far as like Republicans and Democrats go, like Democrats are always like, "Oh, we changed the food pyramid," and Republicans are like, "Oh, here's some garbage on a plate." You know,
we changed it back. We immediately changed it back. We cut all these regulations.
That is so funny because I remember.
I don't know if I've ever noticed it, to be honest.
Michelle Obama, when she got real big into like, the food in schools is atrocious, you know, and was really trying to change all that.
Dude, that was one of the first things Trump did in office. President Trump's 2021 budget proposes to cut SNAP by more than 180 billion, 30%. Yeah, dude, it's like as soon as he got into office, all of these different like really high quality food regulations that Obama put into place, he just literally undid them like with the snap of his finger. He was like, "Cool, done."
Thanos.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Fucking pretty fucked. I don't get into politics though. I stay out of that shit.
I'm not like a hardcore lefty or anything like that. It's just like a lot of that stuff is insane.
Oh, hey, yeah, you sent us the link about chickens.
Not about chickens.
There's chickens in the picture. You can't tell me it's not about chickens. There's chickens in the picture.
Nice.
God damn it, we ran out of time before I could talk about the hypocrisy shit again.
Oh, we are like way beyond out of time.
I know.
I was actually tempted
I can go
to
until
split
like
this into 2 episodes.
15, 20 minutes.
All right. Well, so, God damn it. You know what? I got to say something about Trump though. Like, that dude's fucking insane, right? Yeah. Like he's absolutely has no filter, absolutely certifiably just fucking nutter butters.
Sure.
But you know, I gotta say,
oh no,
at the very least, he is the only person to come out of the system, like step outside into the public and say openly that yes, the system is corrupt. And when he's argued that fact by others,
I saw
he's
that
like,
Dave
well, I
Chappelle
use
skit
it.
too.
You know, he was very honest about that. Like he was upfront. He's like, yeah, I exploit the system that is broken and exploitable all the time. Yeah, he's an asshole, but he's like everything Americans have like, oh, the government's doing this, and this. Right. And like, we're getting all crazy and paranoid. Yeah. He fueled it. But at the same time, he also like confirmed that like, oh yeah, they're fucking with you. Like
he confirmed it in his own Trump way by showing absolutely no fucking evidence that anything. He just said that He's like,
Well, he
"Whoa,
take-
look at all this
Well,
shit.
the way that I remember is it was a debate, and Hillary was like, "This person, he doesn't pay his taxes or whatever." And he's like, "That makes me smart."
Well, he's like, I'm using the
he's using
system
the
that your
loopholes and
Democrats
systems.
created. Basically,
Yeah,
is what he
exactly.
was.
And he's like,
went
"Fix
off.
it," but you won't because your own constituents
breaks and
also
shit like that.
use.
Yeah,
these
that's true.
loopholes.
So I mean, he called out both sides, and he said that the full system was corrupt, and he uses it. And I'm like, you don't really hear politicians just fucking do that.
Wait, is
They
that the
don't-
hypocrisy thing?
No, that's not.
Oh.
I just that made me
because it tied in.
Yeah.
What you said about Trump just kind of hit my brain like that. And like, I know Bernie Sanders was talking about like, oh, the system's corrupt, but it's like, Bernie, you haven't even been in the White House. Yes, calm down. And but Trump stepping out of the White House and just being like, oh yeah, this shit sucks. Like, I just thought it was funny.
That
I mean, at
is
least
why
he was
people like
honest,
him. And also because they're psychopaths. But anyways,
Yeah. So the hypocrisy stuff, it was just kind of like little meta things in movies and video games that I've just been noticing a lot. Like, because, writing has just gotten exponentially lazier in Hollywood and everywhere else, especially Hollywood. Good God, if they remake another fucking movie, I swear to God, so sick of unoriginal content.
well,
I hate that meta style of writing though, where they're like, oh, remember this from like the old stuff, how it was like super annoying and terrible and da 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 da, like they're pointing it out, but then they just do that anyway, thinking that them pointing it out excuses them from like, haha, we're making fun of it, but no, you're still doing that thing. For example, I was playing Borderlands 3. And Borderlands 3 was making fun of games that have escort quests. And it's like, haha, these are so terrible, right? But then made you actually do an entire fucking escort quest.
Yeah, so that's a it's called lamp shading. Big Bang Theory does it all the time, where they're like, haha, sexism is so funny, XD. We're doing it ironically, but they're still doing it. Yeah, so it's called lamp shading. Yeah,
I hate that.
yeah, it's fucked up. It's super.
It's infuriating.
Super cringe.
The new Scream movie. Have you guys seen the new Scream movie?
no.
So in the new Scream movie, and I'm going to try to avoid spoilers here, but in case you give a shit, I don't know if you do or not. But in the new Scream movie, they are like consistently doing that. They're like pointing out like, oh, these were the flaws of like what happened in the original Scream movie. Ha 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 ha. And then they just do it anyway.
Yeah,
They
it's a way for them
redid
to
the
try and
entire
get-
first movie.
It's a way for them to like try and get away with doing that same recycled shit. They're like, okay, if we do that, people are going to call us out for it. So what if we call ourselves out for it?
There you go.
Yeah, they're trying to pull a Ryan Seacrest. How like Ryan Seacrest kept getting made fun of for being gay, but then he started making those jokes, so it wasn't funny to make fun of him for being gay anymore. He's trying to cut him off at the curve.
It's classic anti-bullying tactic. I used it in high school.
Yeah, and but it's stupid because as far as like the movies and the lamp shading, if you're still doing that thing, then you have not learned your lesson and you're not allowed to make fun of it. And that's where I stand. I'm like, you cannot do that. That's not okay. I don't like that. Like, okay, say for instance, Star Wars, A New Hope. It was just, or not A New Hope, the fucking other one, The Force Awakens. It was just A New Hope. Just
Sounded like
again.
you said The Horse Awakens.
Yeah,
It
The
really
Force
did.
Awakens. The Force Awakens, it was basically, it hit all the same notes that the A New Hope did, but they didn't like point at it and be like, haha, look, meta commentary, and then just do it anyway. They just did it. And yeah, people pointed it out, but I mean, who cares? Right? They like, it's somehow
I think
less
it's worse to-
egregious.
Yeah, it's worse to like acknowledge it and do it anyway.
Yeah. And I've been noticing that, like I said, movies and video games, like,
But a lot of people
constantly.
they like that. When they see lamp, they wouldn't know that it's called lamp shading, but when they see it, they're like, haha, oh, they're acknowledging it. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, oh God.
I hate, like, have you guys like seen, like, do you guys have any examples where that has kind of like popped up for you, like in any kind of, like, I know you said Big Bang Theory,
Yeah, they do it all the time.
but Robert, have like you seen any examples of that or anything like that?
I mean, I know I have. I don't have anything that just like really comes up as a example of like, oh yeah, this is
Big
one
Bang
of
Theory
those
is so
situations.
egregious for it, dude. Like it'll be like, oh look, they're like using drones to like spy on the women's locker room. Isn't that creepy and gross? It's like, dude, you're
And then
still
they do-
fucking doing it, dog.
You're still doing it. Yeah.
They did that?
That's so.
Yes.
For instance,
I don't remember
Yeah.
that episode.
they do Revenge of the Nerds. That's. I mean, it's
Oh.
that's the same thing.
I got you.
Which was fucked up back then. And
Yeah,
like,
and them acknowledging it does not make it any better. So
yeah.
Well, it's for instance, there's a game coming out from the creators of Rick and Morty called High on Life.
Oh, is that the thing with the guns where they're talking?
The gun talks to you and everything, and I was
Kill
kind of
me.
excited for it because
Yeah.
it, I like Rick and Morty because I'm fucking terrible, and but like I was like, okay, it looks kind of funny, it looks different, it definitely looks polished, and I was like, it would definitely give me like this feeling of change in the modern game. Like I get a lot of the same shit over and over and over again. This looks different. But then they started releasing more trailers where they were doing that fucking lampshading shit where they were commenting like, "Oh, she's gonna. This is the part of the boss fight where she's invincible for." And then like they still did it. And I'm like, don't fucking point it out as it being awful. And then just do it anyway. And it's apparently very like all over the game where they're like, "Oh yeah, this is the thing with this thing." And now there's one part where they like defy it. Where the gun's like, oh, you can't shoot a child. Why would you shoot a child? You can't do that. Like video games don't let you shoot a child, and then you can just shoot the child, and it's like, huh? They usually don't let that happen. All right,
Dude, I think I saw like 25 seconds of that game and I was like, Jesus. Like that would be a form of torture.
But yeah, I don't know. I think even the new Pokemon game does it, like very briefly, like in the dialogue, because I was like, oh my God, this fucking, like, I just wanted to skip a dialogue or something. And I'm like, why are you telling me the thing I already know? And then they pointed it out at the end of the conversation. I'm like, God, come on. Fucking don't do it then.
Dude, I don't know what it is with games now that like just they never, I mean, I can't say games now, but because like Borderlands 2 is doing it too, but just like games that don't shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like
It's
even
like-
the new God of War, like you kill some enemies in an area and then they're just like, so my old sister back in Jotunheim, and it's like, dude, just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. Give me a second.
I don't mind like idle conversation. Like I'm like, sure, fine, world building, blah blah blah, whatever. You make them feel alive. Idle conversation's one thing. It's the thing. And Ego Raptor, Aaron, I can't remember Hansen.
Aaron Hansen.
Yeah, he talked about this years ago, how like that hand-holdy, tutorial-y, like
Yeah.
just because like video game producers and developers just assume that people are stupid and can't solve basic fucking problems on their own, that they have to be hand-holded and fucking like told exactly what to do verbatim. Fucking Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It has been 20 goddamn years since the first one. I know how to catch a fucking Pokemon. Why did I have to
your
go through an
mic.
hour and a half of fucking tutorials?
Good luck at fucking editing this, Rob.
Jesus Christ,
should
are you
always
dying
bring
over
wa-
there?
Yeah, my throat's like super dry. And when my throat gets dry, it's like awful because I have so much mucus build up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it like coagulates. I hate it. It's like when I took those fucking gummies the other night and I had really bad like cotton mouth.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
Oh yeah, I need to give my rundown on the symptoms and side effects of doing too much of that.
I actually have a very similar outcome this week.
I took pretty comprehensive notes, so I was actually surprised at how like involved my research went.
And you know you're supposed to only do like half a gummy at once to
Shut
find out
up.
where your thing is.
I also forgot that I don't digest things properly like anymore, so it had like a way delayed fucking.
Oh no! It naturally does. Yeah, it's like an hour, if not more.
Oh no, this took like 5 or 6 hours.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then I was still
I've heard
reeling
of
from
more,
it.
but not that long. Jesus.
Oh yeah, no, it took me forever, and that's why I didn't think the first one worked. So I took another one,
Mm.
and yeah, we'll
You
get
took
into
two
all
as
that.
well, dude. I did that. I bought a thing of gummies, right? A thing of like Delta 8 THC
Yeah.
gummies, and because I was like, I like the vapes, but I'm not a smoker, so it's
Yeah, me
really
either.
hard to do it. I just end up coughing my head off and almost dying.
Here, let me get the bottle so I have all the information.
Right.
God, I'm such an adult. I keep things in the top drawer of my nightstand.
Dude, I do the same thing.
Secret things that like all my condoms are in there. My fucking
Well, I don't
Delta
have any
8
condoms,
gummies
but
and my fucking underwear and
yeah, no. So yeah, I bought the thing of gummies. It was like 30 gummies, 30 like THC Delta 8 gummies.
yeah, I got 25.
And there's a little disclaimer, and even the lady was like, all right, how many hits of a vape does it take for you? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, 10. I was like, yeah, 10 sounds fine. 10 sounds good. I usually just go until whenever. And she's like, you'll probably be at 1, but do half and then see how that goes for you, and then do 1 after that if it wasn't enough to do half. And I was like, all right, cool. So I come home, I eat half, I wait like 20 minutes or so, and nothing happens, and I forget that, edibles they take a while to process and to get in your system and to do it. So I was like, all right, let me just do the whole one, because she said it's probably going to be where I'm at anyways. So I take the other half. I wait another 20 minutes. I feel nothing.
Dude, 20 minutes? No, like 2 hours is what you're supposed to wait.
I know that now.
Yeah.
So I did the whole and wait another 20 minutes. So now we're at a total of 40 minutes. I was like, you know what? I still don't feel anything. Let me just do a whole second one. About 10 minutes later, 10, maybe 20 minutes later, I was rocked, son.
Dude,
Like,
so when Tyler gets back, I'll share my research. Because, oh, doggy.
it was
I
bad.
had a row of a time. So I got this 25 sour hydro premium hemp derived product, whatever, I don't know.
Right.
It's got 10 milligrams of HHC in each of them.
Oh, so you got HHC. Okay. So that's not
Yeah.
even Delta 8. That's
Well,
that's like that's why, dude, that's why it's delayed, because that's that shit that, like, it's not THC. So if they tested it and it doesn't pop, it's not illegal in some states. But then
Right.
after you take it, your body metabolizes it and it becomes THC. That's why it takes forever.
yeah. So that's that one. But my bottle came with 2 samples that had 2 in each of them. And I was like, and like you said, it's not Delta 8, right? For the HHC ones.
Right.
So this is where my brain was. I took one of the 10 milligrams of HHC. After about 3-4 hours, I don't know, something like that. It was 2-3 hours at the most. Probably. And I didn't feel any different. I was like, man, I don't like, because the whole reason I was taking it was because I had headaches and my sciatica was bothering me, and I was having problems sleeping.
Yeah.
And I needed help.
All reasons why I take it. Yep.
Yeah. So no effect. So I was like, all right. So then I look at my samples, and I had this giant pink one. This thing's huge. And it's called the THC pillow gummy sample.
Ooh.
It's got 25 milligrams of D9 and 25 milligrams of HHC per piece.
All in one piece?
Yes.
Dude, that's that long-lasting shit then.
Yeah. Don't take that one.
I'm sure you were fucked for a long time.
So I had that, and I took the little one.
You said 25 milligrams? So 50
that's
total
of 35 milligrams of HHC and 25 milligrams of D9.
Okay. I've never taken D9. I know it's like just one like microsome or whatever microbe off of D8. I've only taken D8.
Well, I know I've also got a sample that's 50 milligrams of DA and 25 milligrams of THCO and 20 milligrams of HHC and 5 milligrams CBN.
Dude, what the fuck did you buy? That's the dude, you take that and you're gonna get fucked.
I don't want to take this one. I'm afraid to take that one. So
Yes,
the reason I'm afraid is because after I took those two, about 2 hours later, oh, it hits hard.
Yeah.
My head feels swollen.
Right.
Like I had the worst.
You took both of them too?
Well, no, I just took the pillow, and then the 10 milligram, like the regular ones. So I had two of those.
That was a dumb move.
Huh?
I said that was a dumb move.
Yeah, well, I was like, I'm not feeling any effects. So, and then I took the big one. About 2 hours later, my head felt so fucking swollen, and it put this pressure, like it felt like this horrible pressure that was just making me sleepy. And I was like, God, that fucking sucks. Like it hurts like a son of a bitch. And I took a nap.
Because you took
and I
too
woke
much.
up. Yeah, I took a nap, and I still felt just fucking awful. I got up. Yeah. And my sciatica hurt so fucking bad. Like it felt like it made it worse. So I had this throbbing headache. I was so fucking tired.
Yep.
And my sciatica felt awful. And I got up and went to the living room. I was eating something. And I was trying to just focus. And I was having this hard time focusing, which, I was having a conversation. When I was typing things, I could remember what I had typed. Because I was texting someone, and I was like, hey, I got fucked up off this shit. Like, it's fucking giving me a headache. And I was kind of looking into things, which I shouldn't do. I should never look into things. Because I was like, how bad is it with the blah, blah amount of HHC? Like, what are the reactions to that?
Right.
And, so I Googled that, and they're like, oh, well, it could be da. And I was like, oh, Jesus. So my biggest issue was remembering, and it was half of my panic attack, because I ended up having a panic attack.
Right.
So half of it was my brain was trying to process all of this information at once. And then at the same time, it was like trying to keep up with itself. Like I was speaking to someone, and I would question whether or not I had actually said that to them. And I was like, this must be like what it feels like very early on for people living with dementia and things, like just questioning themselves. And it was horrifying. I hated it. I was like, this is bad. Like,
that's how
I don't want to.
That's how I felt when I was fucking high as shit. I was like constantly.
I mean, my motor functions were fine. And I was fine. Like I could still mentally process things and pick things up and, walk around. I was fine. I just had this horrible fucking headache, and I kept questioning myself. And I'm like, I had.
What are we talking about? Your experience while high?
Yeah. Well, I guess.
He was a dum-dum like I was a dum-dum and took way too much HHC and Delta 8.
Like I had edibles. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And so I was questioning myself, and the whole time I'm like, this must be what it's like for people with dementia. I'm like, they must be questioning whether or not they, like, early stages of dementia have to be like that. Did I actually say
question reality and shit?
Yeah, you start because I was like, I'm having a conversation with someone, and they would say something, and I'm like, I know I said this, didn't I? I know I said what I'm thinking to say right now. But I've already said that
question. I asked myself probably 45 times in a conversation I was having with Aaron that night when I just took way too much.
So after the fifth time of me asking myself that, and then like still being able to carry on the conversation because Felicity had no idea I was even fucking on anything.
Right.
And I was like, I gotta lay down. I've got a headache. Like it gave me a worse headache. And I went to go lay down. My sciatica was still bothering the shit out of me. And then I couldn't breathe out of my nose. And I was having a fucking panic attack because if I breathe out of my nose just naturally, and when I'm laying down to go to sleep, I breathe out of my nose, and I'm laying there and I can't fucking breathe out of my nose. I'm like, I start to get stopped up. It's like a struggle to breathe. Like I'm holding down one nostril or lifting up my nostrils or something, and I'm like, why can't I fucking breathe? And I would have to remind myself to open my mouth to breathe, which I thought was funny. But then I grabbed my phone and I was like, does this kind of thing like affect breathing? And I found that it is possible to affect, because it can affect your lungs and things like that. And that sent me full on into a panic attack. My heartbeat was fucking just...
Because the first thing you should do when you're high as fuck is try to read symptoms and possible outcomes of overdose.
So I was just like, I can't breathe, and I would feel my heartbeat every now and again. I'm like, my heart is just fucking racing, and I realized I was having a panic attack, and so I went to just kind of go sit on the toilet and just breathe, because that's like in the bathroom with the closed door like that, like it's colder in the bathroom. I knew that in that cold environment with the tile floor and everything, that I would start to feel a little better. I typically, when I'm sick and I have a fever and like I can feel it, like I know I have a like cold sweat fever, I go to the bathroom and I just sit on the tile or something, and it makes me feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But so I had to go breathe and just force myself to breathe. And then I eventually went back to bed. I took a nap. I slept for 15 fucking hours.
Yep.
And then when I woke up, I had my lips were curled up on my gums. My tongue was drier than the Sahara Desert. And I was like,
mouth breathing.
Give me water. Like I was fucking dying.
Yeah.
And I ended up calling out of work too, because I woke up at
good for you
at 6 or 7 or something, and I was like to go pee, and I was like, I'm not coming into work. Like I could barely stand up and move. So I was like, not driving. Nope. So I called out of work. I was like, I'm not feeling well. And she was like, no worries. And I was like, cool. And I went back to sleep. And for 3 days I had that headache, that swollen, throbbing headache that made me sleepy for 3
you took a super
days.
gummy.
Yeah. Well,
like, dude, seriously.
I took a regular gummy and then a super gummy. So I took 2.
Speaking as somebody who has been on the Delta 8 train for at least a year, maybe year and a half.
Yeah.
I can tell you, whatever the fuck that was, wherever you bought that, first off, they're definitely on their shit. And for I've never bought anything that had multiple strands of like it's either Delta 8, HHC, Delta 09 or whatever. Like it's never a combination of which of all 3 of those. You bought the want to fucking forget about the day.
So that's funny, because I wrote this.
You're at the very beginning of all this, right? Like
I've never taken.
You're kind of like dabbling in it.
Yeah, I've never tried. Yeah. I've never smoked anything. I've never tried any.
Don't
edibles.
do that.
It was for scientific research.
Yeah. And you felt like you were going to die.
I did. I was like, well, I did take very comprehensive notes, like I said. So I actually experienced some slight short-term memory problems for a day and a half after, where I was, and like I said, that's what that contributed to the panic attack, was like, because I know my grandfather had dementia before he died, and it was scary as fuck. That was the scariest fucking thing.
You probably have a predisposition to
So
kind of stuff
I was like, I really hope that, like, because I mean, I can't, I'm not a fucking scientist or a doctor or anything. I can't say what people go through with like dementia, but that's, to me, that's how it felt a little bit. Like this must be what it starts off, like questioning yourself and
my
like short-term memory.
We talked about it last week, but my opinion on dementia is borderline controversial in some aspects and then terrifying in others. But
but
as far as
the short-term memory loss thing was fucking with me bad. I hated it.
Here's what I suggest, because I don't want it to forever scar you and make you.
I'm not scarred. I took
to...
another one like yesterday, so it's fine.
The same one?
No, I didn't take the pink one. I still got one sample of that left. I took half. Right.
So let me
off
tell
small.
you again.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Tyler was gone. I don't know if he was back yet or not when I said this, but there is a reason why on the package it says do half to begin with.
Okay.
To see how it affects you.
Here's the thing, Robert.
And then you progressively go up. You don't start at the top of the scale and work your way down.
Yes,
you
do.
Start at the bottom and work your way up.
If you start at the top, you know there's nowhere else you can go, so you got to go back down.
And it also potentially makes you terrified that you're about to die. And
yes, I was terrified that I was going to die.
That's how people die of overdosing, man. Because they're like, I was going to try cocaine, and then
I would never try cocaine. But
Jesus.
So I was hesitant for this too. Anyway, but I took half right like the other night, and it didn't really. I mean, I slept pretty good, so whatever. But I didn't feel anywhere close to where I was. Like it was like a whole different state, different zip code entirely from where I was the last week. But the reason I like I said, I took the first one and I was like, okay, after 3-4 hours, I didn't feel anything, whatever, and the reason my brain did that, like the reason I thought that was because I have a high tolerance to pain medication, alcohol,
I do,
et cetera,
as well.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And Tyler can actually vouch for the alcohol bit when we were drinking vodka, and he was like, let's take shots, and then I poured like a whole fucking glass, and he was like, okay, I'm not playing with you anymore.
True.
Yeah. So I have a high tolerance for shit, and I can drink and drink and drink and drink and never feel like I typically
you misspoke.
I did. I typically am I keep a hold of myself. My mental faculties are typically just good to go.
Offline.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm fine. It's like, and I keep reminding myself, I'm fine. It's fine. I've only gotten high off of pain medication one time, and I didn't even realize I was high. I had someone else like, oh, your pupils are dilated, you're high as shit. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, I'm not. And that was like, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what pain medication it was, but I had taken it was after I broke my femur. So it was up there already. And I was like, fuck, I took one, and I was like, fuck, I still
some heavy stuff anyways.
I was in miserable pain, and I was like, okay, let me take another one.
Right.
And I was still in miserable pain like 2 hours later, and I was like, all right, let me take another one. And then that night I was doing karaoke for Mississippi Queen, and someone was like,
specific.
Someone was like, let me see your pupils, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, you're high as shit. And I'm like, am I though? Like, I questioned it. I was like, I don't think I am. I don't feel I'm enjoying myself, and I'm not in pain.
And if you've never done it before, you have no idea.
And that's the thing is, I still don't understand. It's like with skateboarding. I don't understand how skateboarding works, and because of that, I can't skateboard. Because I'm thinking about it too much. I think about it way too much. So whereas getting high, I don't know what that feels like because I haven't comprehended. Like from what I hear from other people, it's like almost euphoric or whatever, and they like blah 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 blah. But then I do it, and it's I keep control of myself. I remember everything that happened. I don't black out. I don't fucking like go loopy. I'm fine. I mean,
for me, it's
other than the panic
not much different at all than getting a really good buzz from alcohol.
But see, it just gives me a headache. So I'm wondering if I don't even get buzzes like that. Because even when I drink too much, I get a headache.
If you're basing that on your last experience, like I said, you took something honestly that you should not have in your experience.
I know I overdid it, but like I said, previous experiences
by a lot, not even by a little, not even like
But with the alcohol, same thing. Like everybody's like, "Oh, are you buzzed yet?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I got a headache." Like that's what it feels like to me. Like a tension headache, like real bad tension headache, like a throbbing, like put my head in a vice kind of thing. It's like I feel hungover when I'm drunk, And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't like this. And so I stopped drinking because I hated having that headache. Also, I had to drink to excess to even feel anything. So
Right.
it was
Did
like
you ever think about it could be what you were drinking as well? Because like people react differently
Everything.
to like dark liquors and white liquors.
no, I drank
and,
everything.
uh,
Yeah.
You're just this trash compactor of alcohol.
It really didn't matter. I preferred vodka, but yeah, I just drank everything.
Gotcha. Well, moral of the story for everyone who's listening in the second episode, if you're going to dabble in Delta 8, make sure it's only
a little
Delta
at a
8,
time, guys.
or
Microdose.
only Delta 9. Don't buy the fucking kaleidoscope version.
That's why I'm afraid to take this little green one. Because the little green one's 50 milligrams of D8, 25 milligrams THCO, 20 milligrams HHC, 5 milligrams CBN.
I am telling you right now.
If you take that, you will die.
Right now, you're not gonna die. No one's ever died from weed, but
Yeah.
you could die from like side effects, like if you're a moron and go driving. But
I'm gonna get scissors and like cut a quarter of it off
yeah,
or
I
something.
was gonna say you microdose that shit.
Yeah.
That because that essentially is a horse tranquilizer is what you have.
It does say it's for sleep, so I believe.
Oh,
that.
it'll put your ass to sleep. That's for sure.
You'll be dead.
It will put your ass. I'm gonna message you, and you're not gonna answer because you're gonna be asleep, and you're gonna answer like 3 days later.
Now I did.
Man.
There was one side effect that I thought was kind of funny. Early on, before the panic attack and the just the horrible headache. It was kind of right before that. Very small things, whether I was watching like a YouTube short or I was playing a video game or something and dialogue was catching me off guard. Everything seemed so much funnier than it probably was. And when I started laughing, I realized I couldn't stop. And I was trying to force myself to stop laughing because I'm like, I sound like a crazy person. And it would just be like fighting to get out of me. And I'm just like, stop. What is wrong with you? And like, it's like my brain was like having an out of body experience. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, it lost control immediately. And I
So have you ever done Delta 8? Or I mean, you probably just like, I smoke weed like a real man.
I smoke weed every day.
No, I think the last time I smoked weed, I was like 21 or 22.
I thought you were about to say 12, and I was going to be like, time.
And then the last time, like, never since then, because if I wanted to get into any sort of criminal justice field, they make you not smoke weed for 4 years. And at this point, it's like, you know what, dude? Like, I'm probably just not going to, because when I did, it never really brought me anything. Yeah.
Well, see,
I lost an internship because they asked me if I'd ever taken a prescription drug that was not prescribed to me, and I was like, yeah. When I was in college, I took recently. I was like super stressed about exams, and my mom, who is a registered nurse who works, has a Xanax prescription, so I took half of one of hers, and they were like, nope,
never admit
rejected.
that in a job interview.
Wow. They literally polygraph you before you can intern at the sheriff's office. So I was like, I better get it out of the way.
Insane.
Like, may as well tell them. Like,
that's why you bring a thumbtack with you and pinch the inside of your hand so you can lie as much as you want.
Paul's over here with his fucking like MacGyver ass. Like,
if you pinch
James
yourself
Bond.
right before you answer, because it's all based on like various different fucking body functions rather than like, oh, it's a magical truth detecting machine. Like, oh, it's all.
That's why it's admissible in court. Nah.
Yeah.
But
so it, I worked for the government, like doing like Department of Corrections and Department of Retirement Services, and before that, it's like I never wanted to do anything. Like I never smoked, and I never did any drugs or anything like that because none of it appealed to me. And I'm like, whatever. I don't need it. And
I will say, I want to get this in real quick. I did when I was in school, I did take some pretty concentrated CBD. And
there you go.
Holy fuck, dude. The first time, like, I was so stressed that I was like, my breaths were short, and I was like, fuck, man. And I took CBD, and I'm not kidding, within like 10 minutes, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's very calming. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's probably what I need to try.
When you get good quality, that's the other problem is finding quality stuff. Because like, you can go to a fucking BP station and get quote CBD, and it'll be like the most watered down bullshit ever. You need to go to like a proper like smoke shop that has like local strains and does all their shit in house, and which I'm sure in the areas that you live in, it's definitely easy to find. But
they're around.
And shop around, because people have different like ingredients and stuff, and ratios and whatnot. And sometimes CBD, like just straight up normal ass CBD, isn't what you're looking for. Like, I mean, it doesn't have that edge to it that is THC. I mean, that's why it might take like a super concentrated dose. But
so working with the government and everything, I knew I couldn't fucking. I was like, no. And everybody kept telling me, it's like, dude, you're stressed all the time. You're in pain. You're not sleeping well. You should try it. And I'm like, I can't, man. I work for Department of Corrections. They drug test like constantly.
I was like, how often did you get drug tested while you were there?
In the 1 year at the first prison I worked at, I got drug tested 6 times.
Jesus.
Dude, I've been employed with the same employer for 8 years now.
Yeah.
Never been drug tested.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
my company doesn't drug test either.
Well, this is a Florida DOC.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers would be sneaking shit in. And that's why the librarian before me got fired. Well, it wasn't drugs. He was sneaking in cell phones, but still, so they would drug test me. And then, the second prison, not as much. I just think it was 3 times in a year. But that was a more lax, facility. I know Department, the retirement services did it once. But I only worked there for a year. And then I haven't been drug tested again since. Like, I mean, they're not going to drug test at fucking Pet Paradise, like
they lose all of their staff.
Yeah, all their staff are college kids, and I feel so fucking old. Holy
as you should.
Shit, I'm older than everyone that works there, including the managers. It makes me so sad.
Dude, I was talking, my girlfriend is she just turned 24, and I was like, do you remember like downloading songs on LimeWire and like burning them
don't
CDs?
ask her
And she was
that.
like, no, I just had an iPod. I was like,
Yeah,
fuck.
exactly.
She skipped that whole first phase, man.
Oh, it's like when I ask, I hate that, because some of the guys there, I'm like, oh, they seem like they're about my age, right? So I'll ask them. I was like, yeah, y'all remember that shit from the 90s? And they're like, we weren't born until 2000. I'm like, my heart fucking kills me every fucking time. I hate it. I hate when they tell me they're born in 2000. I'm like,
they don't know the feeling of finding out what the difference is between.
They don't know the Capri Sun commercials, and they don't.
Dude, okay. Last thing, I know we have to go. Capri Sun has like really stepped their game up. They don't use any food dyes. They don't use any bullshit. It's like almost entirely fruit juice now. It's so good. Yeah.
I thought they never used dyes because their shit was clear.
Is that true? Maybe.
I didn't think they ever used any dye.
I don't know. I have a real hard time drinking and eating anything out of a package that I can't see.
Respect the pouch.
Wait, you have a hard time eating? Say it again.
So like, there's
see
like apple sauces that are in pouches and shit that you can't see the sauce.
Yeah.
I have a hard time eating and doing stuff like that.
What about like
so
beer
you could
bottles?
never be an astronaut.
I guess you can look into those, right?
And look into what?
A beer bottle?
I mean, generally you can see inside.
Not a can, though.
Tookie, not right there. My cat's fucking throwing up. Throw up on the tile.
On the tile. Come on.
Yeah, get it out. Let it go. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess
there's a bit more trust with beverages in cans.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but
it shouldn't be. They're awful.
Yeah,
They're
it really
worse
shouldn't
for
be
you.
because Capri Suns are definitely on the list of things, and I'm like, I don't know. And I think it's because I saw some shit. There was like, oh, this was in this pouch of Capri Sun. It's probably completely, totally fake, but it was like, bird shit in a pouch or something like that. I don't know.
You're like, how could a bird possibly have shit into this?
Well, I have seen things where like shit will be rotted inside the pouch, or like just because a little bit of air got caught in there and bacteria grew or some shit, like shit that wasn't supposed to happen on the assembly line or whatever, and it got all fucked up.
Just shit like that just makes me feel really like
I can see why you'd feel sketchy. But yeah, no, as far as like consuming this stuff, people have been telling me for fucking years to do it, because my temperament, my stress levels, my pains, oh my god, the pain,
and your lack of seeking proper medical attention.
I don't have money for that, or health insurance. So you know, they kept it in Jim, especially. Jim was like, "Oh, you should smoke weed. You smoke weed. You smoke weed." And I'm like, "Jim, shut the fuck up." God damn it, Jim.
He definitely did propose or support that.
All the time. He was the biggest peer pressuring motherfucker. I love Jim. But yeah, I guess I just finally broke down. I was like, you know what? My appetite hasn't been great. I have not been sleeping well. I can feel my temperament starting to get worse again, because the pain's starting to get to me real bad. And so somebody was like, yeah, try this. And then fucking, yeah, here I am. And I gotta say, it has not helped yet. So we'll see. We're going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep taking notes and running this science experiment to see if it's even worth continuing. But yeah.
Well, I highly support you continue the experiment, figure out what it is that you need to do, and I am more than willing to assist in any way that I can. If you have,
that's my favorite thing, is experimenting with shit. I should have been smarter in school. I really should have like paid more attention. I love science. I absolutely love science. I'm not good at it, but I love it. And I like theoretical science. But I love conducting experiments. So see how it goes.
Gotcha.
Especially on myself.
Also, don't do the super gummy.
I want. I mean, I'm my own best guinea pig. So we'll see how it goes.
Just want to let you know, Paul and Tyler.
Yeah.
I don't roll a joint every day, but when I do, it's usually my ankle.
Nice.
Sign us off, Paul.
Is Aaron expecting? Is that why you made a corny ass dad joke?
I think he gave me heart palpitations. Yeah, he does the fucking dad joke sign off thing. God damn it. So finally, this guy. All right. Is that everything? Are we done?
I hope so.
It's 10 o'clock. We've been doing this since 7:30.
Yeah, I know. But hey, that's okay. That just means we have 2 weeks worth of material. So
yeah, true. We get the week off next week. Tyler's gonna be like, "What the fuck? No, we need to record." Fuck you guys, wake up. Talk about. I know there is so much to talk about. Always,
there's always something to talk about.
Oh man, and that's why we'll always have a show, because there's always something to talk about.
Exactly.
And then
now,
get
Paul,
distracted.
shut the fuck up and sign us off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening. You can email us at akettleoffishpodcast@gmail.com or call us at 615-933-1855. Hope to catch you next week.